Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much for making your way here, checking out the series. You know what to do if you like what you see. Hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. I got to tell you, I'm so excited today to have the band Camino on. Hi, guys.
What's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm great. It's nice to see you all on here, and especially considering what's going on as we lead up to the debut or the premiere of your debut full-length album, the self-titled record. First off, congrats on making it here.
Dude,
Thank you.
It's a long time coming.
It's been a road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I hear. I mean, you've had a few EPs setting up to this. How did you all want to approach the full album? Like, is there a kind of a marker in the sand of how it sounds compared to what you all were doing with the EPs?
I would definitely say so, but it's just kind of like, it's hard to put your finger on it, but it's kind of like a stamp in time of where we are now compared to where we were, 2 years ago when we released Try Hard. So a lot of the songs that are on the album were kind of like we've basically been a band for, we started off as just playing bar gigs in Memphis in 2015, and so it's been a long road of kind of just making music and figuring out, who we are as a band and how to express ourselves the right way. But most of this, I don't know, we had so many songs from over the years that we felt like this will be on the album one day. And then when it came down to it, most of the songs on the album got written right before we recorded the album. And so it ended up being more of a snapshot of kind of where we are.
Yeah.
Currently.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll say, I mean, what you all have going on, the chemistry and the sound it's built, I feel is something special. And I don't know if you've had, because as a band, I don't think you've been around all that often, all that long, especially on the national scale. Do you have, when did you know that this was something different? Did you have older bands that you'd been in the past that you could compare it to? This is something else.
I definitely did.
So Garrison was in a band right before.
Yeah, I've been in a number of bands over the course of my young 25 years, and I joined these guys 3 years ago. 3 years ago in July, and I know it's crazy. We're past the 3-year mark, which is pretty nuts.
That's nuts.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as we started working together, I feel like the chemistry was immediate. And that's something it normally takes years to cultivate, and it took maybe 2 rehearsals, and it was just this feels right. We're doing it together. It feels like we've been a band the whole time, and so from my experience, yeah, it was definitely an immediate, just this makes sense. I don't know. I'm sure you guys
great use of cultivate.
Dude, cultivate was super strong in that sentence.
But yeah, definitely agree with that statement. Me and Spencer met in 2014ish probably. We started playing music together in 2015, and it didn't start off as the band Camino. It was Americana, and then I don't know, meetings. We had kind of a big influence on each other's what we listened to and what we liked, and so it kind of just slowly evolved, and then we moved to Nashville. We started the band Camino in 2015. And we moved to Nashville on the hunt for a drummer. And we met Garrison in 2018. So it felt like it was just continually just kind of becoming what it is today. And I think definitely the biggest year of kind of, I don't know, becoming the band Camino that I feel like most people, the people that consider the modern day band Camino is starting in 2018, because we met our producer, who we've been working with since. We started working with our manager beginning of 2018. We met Garrison in 2018, and it was all these kind of things just aligning. Moved to Nashville, and
kind of gave us a level of consistency we hadn't had. I think between 2016 and 2018, we toured a lot, but it was mostly weekend gigs, or Jeffrey would literally cold call or cold email some random, place out in California or Oregon, or some literally the most random shit. Yeah. So it's we would go and do that, but we weren't like you said, we weren't a national thing yet. Yeah. We hadn't hopped on with anybody or done anything like that.
We had a van and a dream.
Oh, dude,
we were driving.
It was a fat dream though. It was great.
And a sick van.
And a sick van, dude. Yeah, RIP to the van, and I miss the van every day.
She's out there somewhere.
She is. She's being used. Isn't she like?
Yeah, it got used by like a church that does like rehab for like former addicts and stuff.
Addicts,
it's like a church camp van, so it's like a good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, you do like Dave Grohl does and hunt it down 20 years later, buy it back, and then do another tour. You know, it's.
Full circle.
I think that band needed a little bit of church in its life after what it saw. It needed some redemption there.
Needed its soul to be saved.
Right.
So
I think what is really impressive right off the bat about this album is that knowing that you all are coming with multiple voices, and I mean that actually vocalists and songwriters, but still there's a cohesive sound to it. Like it doesn't sound like two different bands, three different bands, or whatever. And I don't know, again, that might be natural to a testament to your chemistry, but if not, then is that how do you go about that to make sure it still sounds like a record?
Probably, I feel like we're at this point, like, you know, me and Spencer have been singing together for so long. We kind of like rubbed off on each other a little bit, I'm sure. And we're just kind of like, I don't know, you know how like siblings and brothers and like sisters or whatever kind of always sound like, I don't know, family harmonies always like have that, like, you know, you can tell like they sound so similar. I feel like we kind of have that because we've just spent so much time together.
Yeah, there's a lot of unspoken stuff that goes on in terms of like, yeah, and vocal. I feel like it's a lot of the time people have a hard time distinguishing our voice. We get that a lot.
Which is crazy to us because I feel like
we feel like we're individuals, but you know, some people
are like, "Oh, I love you on this song." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you."
Yeah, man, I sound great.
I sound awesome, right?
Not me.
He actually makes his vocal debut on this song.
It's not a big thing, so don't say
it's not a huge thing.
It's a very minimal thing.
We have this like 70s kind of disco throwback song called "I Think I Like You" on the record, and Garrison he sings the bass line in like the down voice.
I've been told that I have a pretty cool radio voice.
He has a sweet sultry baritone range.
Yeah, he's got a nice baritone.
And it was the last day we were tracking, or maybe the day before. And I was just like joking around, just singing some dubby dubs, like matching the bass line. And we were like, yeah, let's go ahead and put that in there. So we did. So there you go. There's my vocal debut on the record.
Not the last one though, right? Not the last vocal one.
No, it's the first of many. But hopefully I'll sing words instead of dubs next time. But you know, we'll see.
It's easy there.
We can do some barbershop, honestly, like 3-part. He's got
make it like a hidden track.
The bass range covered.
Yeah,
you can get down there.
I can get down there.
Well, from the drums and the bass right there, I also want to bring up the guitar because the solo on Know It All is so good,
dude.
Like first off, it seems like for whatever reason the guitar solo in the middle of the rock song has become a lost art to be able to pull it off. Second, there is an era in this solo that is nailed. You know, I'm hearing a little bit of Slash, a little bit of Van Halen. I don't know what you're going for there, but it is so good.
So there's a guitarist named, and he's like a friend of the band. His name's Mateus Asado. He plays with Tori Kelly, and I think he's played with JoJo and Jesse J, not JoJo. Or maybe JoJo too. I don't know. All of those like insanely great singers. And I don't know. He came to town. I don't know when was that? Sometime 2019. Sometime or no 2020. It was sometime last year. But anyway, we ended up writing a couple songs together, and like just from the little that I saw, that like super inspired me. And he's just this crazy incredible shredder, so I try to channel some of his energy.
Let's make sure we hype him up the max. He's a worldwide phenomenon.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's the man.
If not the best guitarist of this generation, and he's like at least top 3 or 4.
Wow, that's putting him up there.
Oh yeah, he's definitely.
I mean, he's approved by John Mayer, and you know John Mayer is
sure
Mayer, and he's just like, I think Mateus was telling us a story. I'll make it quick, but he was telling us a story, and he was at like this convention, and John Mayer was there, and John Mayer was just like, "Oh, Mateus," and just hands him the guitar, like just stops what he's doing and hands him.
Didn't he like bow down?
Yeah, he was like, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, the best guitar player of your generation is in the house tonight."
He literally was like in the middle of a conversation with somebody else, and like looked over at Mateus and was just like. It was insane.
It's crazy.
So if that's not you don't need our stamp of approval. That's all you need.
He's an inspiring guy for sure.
So that's the inspiration that leads to the solo on the record.
Correct.
Definitely a lot of that. I don't know. Like the guitar solo is definitely lost art too. I feel like I don't know, but with what we do, we try to sound as live as possible while, you know, like I don't know, our sound kind of like can sway here and there, but what the thread through all of it is like a live kind of rock band-esque thread running through the album. And so
drums, bass,
like,
guitar, vocals.
Guitar solo is just needed, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know why more people I guess don't do it. I guess it's a little risky, like, you know, you kind of have to like pull it off live and like nail it, and like you're definitely taking a little bit of risk there, like with the live show. So maybe that's why it's not as, but I don't know. There's people that are way better than us at guitar who like definitely don't take that risk. So I'm like, we're not that great, but we still kind of just go for it.
Exactly. I feel like that's a pretty good just way to describe us in general. It's like we just kind of go for it.
Like, yeah, like the record might be the best solo I play ever, but you know, here it is.
There it is.
I mean, it was good enough for me to be bringing it up in the middle of the interview. So I love it. It's one of my favorite little moments on this album, and there's a lot of good moments on this record too. I actually thought the way that the whole thing begins, I think I heard the sampler, so I don't know if this is a lead off track, but Roses, and that line, like, when did it become so cool to be so sad? I thought there's a nice marker in the sand. Like, you know, is that sort of the mantra for the record in a sense? You know, it sets it up in a way.
It definitely, like, there's a theme on the record. There's a song called Look Up that's like about like getting off your phone and like living in the moment. You know, Roses is very like, you know, stop and smell the roses, like we're all alive, like your life is short, like appreciate it. And there's a song called Everybody Dies that's just like, yo, like the same theme, like everybody dies, like life is here and it's fragile, and like we need to like appreciate it. And there's definitely those kinds of songs. And I think the Roses message is more like, I don't know, it's kind of a message to ourselves in a way, like a pep talk, because we have so many sad songs. And I feel like as an artist and as like, look at the internet, it's like, I don't know, I've always kind of had this like weird longing to be like, I need to be like this burdened, like sad, misunderstood artist. Like, it's not cool to be like happy on the internet and be like, yeah, life is awesome. It's like cool to be like, oh, like, you know, like, I don't know. So it was like kind of a message to myself to be like, yo, like,
cheer up, brother.
You don't have to be like any certain way. Just be yourself, and like, you know, it'll all work out.
And a great hook. I mean, we didn't bring up, the unedited version. It's Stop and Smell the Fucking Roses.
Stop and Smell the Fucking Roses.
It's just that extra punch. I mean, a well-used, you know, swear word does the job.
Hey, well, that's good to know from you, because that was a big debate when we were cutting it. We were like, do we do the censored version? Do we not?
Yeah, which we kind of left it like somewhere in between, because like even like the lyric, like, it's like it bleeps it, but it's there. We haven't said fuck in a song yet, and we ended up putting fuck in a song like the next single that we put out, but we just felt like, I don't know, it was the almost more kitschy to like leave it there, because even like live we've only played it for like a couple little like private events here and there now, but like the people are like ready to say stop and smell the fucking roses.
It's a powerful moment. And you actually do get fuck later on with Sorry Mom. I mean, you know, if you need it in the song, you know, it is there.
Not that we're scared to say fuck. It was just, you know, sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not.
Hey, some of the greatest radio edits end up making better songs. Like my wife and I were talking about like Eminem, the radio edits usually ended up being better than the actual songs, you know, and stuff like that.
Like that Ed Sheeran song where they're like, don't with my love. It's like almost like you remember that version almost more, because like there's just like a nice rhythm to that.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a nice space.
Yeah.
It's like implied. It's like, I don't know, it's nice.
I brought up Sorry Mom and paired with Who Do You Think You Are? You know, those two tracks right there, like that's Jack, especially Who Do You Think You Are? I mean, it does sound like a reckoning, you know, especially to be so narrative of the moment that you're in at the exact moments. Like I find that for a lot of artists that might be a bit tricky to, you know, to be able to see, instead of in hindsight, it's not usually so present is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was definitely a very in the moment song of just like, you know, well, like things are happening, dreams are coming true, like before our eyes, like, you know, like what would my 15-year-old, 17-year-old self like recognize the person I am now? Like, what would he think of me? You know, just about.
There's also that moment, though. I mean, you all do have, I'm sure, the friends who have grown up with you, and I've heard. I was never in a successful band, but I've heard it does change. Like when you go back home, it's like for whatever reason, it becomes a little bit awkward. I don't know if you've ran into that at all yet, but I know that's part of the story usually.
Thankfully, I don't know. Like definitely for like people that I guess aren't my close friends, probably. But like thankfully, I feel like my close friends, it's all kind of the same there. But like people that like you kind of know, they're like, hey, like yada yada yada. It's like, hey, you know.
Yeah, it's ideal.
I'm still the same person. Like,
ideal that I can go home and feel like I'm home still. You know, like it's not weird. Like I've definitely as the band grows, like I've definitely been recognized by like random people. I'm from Bentonville, Arkansas, and it's super weird because like not a lot happens there. Like it's a cool place to live and be raised and go through however many years you're there. But like it's really weird when people in Arkansas start recognizing who you are for what you do. Like pretty whack. But it's good though, because all of my friends at home, my family are so supportive of what I do and respect the fact that when I come home, I'm coming home. I'm not coming back to be something that I'm actually not. I'm just coming home to be Garrison Burgess, the guy that's from Arkansas that loves his family and loves his friends. And they respect that and love that. And they just want it. That's how they want it to be. Very thoughtful people in my life. Very thoughtful people.
I feel like we're all kind of lucky with our families too. They kind of keep us like I'm the oldest of 6 kids. So like I have 5 younger siblings that definitely just like check my ass. And I'll just always be like their goofy older brother. So like,
oh yeah, we're not that special.
It's a good like kind of humbling experience when you go home and your siblings just like make fun of your last Instagram post. They're like, what is this? Like, why are you posting this? You're like, I don't know. Like,
you idiot.
With family, I got to ask the obvious question too with that. Sorry, Mom. I mean, what was the answer? I mean, it's laid bare right there. How did that go over?
Went over actually pretty well. Like, I mean, my mom, as the song implies, my mom hates the F word. And honestly, that was probably still the biggest kind of hurdle to jump through and showing her the songs. It was like, hey, like there's a song that's about our relationship and it has the F word in it. And it's just like, it was, but she ended up listening to it. We had multiple conversations about it before she heard it. And, at the end of the day, she was like, I hate that you said the F word, I'll never get behind the F word. I think it's, her generation, just the way she was raised, that's just not how they speak. And she's like, I get it in a way, but she was like, I'll never be fond of that word, but the message of the song is good. And it's a beautiful song. So like, I think that's about the best outcome I could have hoped for.
Yeah. Well, for her, she gets the song Roses. So there's no F word.
Yeah. We picked it for her on that one. And then...
So, I know you got lots on the way too. The upcoming tour. Assuming everything goes good, we're talking about the Dan and Shay tour that's on the way. I see that there's a Ryman date that you guys are building up to. Do you do anything special for a show like that one? Extra special?
I mean, we'll go out after with some of our close friends and our crew, probably.
Hometown show. We're definitely gonna play a lot of songs too.
And we'll play a lot, yeah.
The album comes out the following week, so it's kind of like hey, come hear the album before it's out. Like we'll be selling physical copies, so you can like first time you can buy the album. Like people who come to the show will be able to hear it a week early, basically, and like we're going to encourage people to like take videos and like, post them online. So there can be some kind of like, oh shit, like listen to this one live.
Some
like,
hype
just
going
some hype around it. Like it'll be really special. It's pretty much like the longest headline set we've ever played because we haven't headlined a show in almost 2 years now, like a year and a half, over a year and a half. So like, we already had more songs than we could play in a set. Now we have 14 new songs. So we're playing like 10 from the new album. So like, I think like 6 or 7 songs that like no one's ever heard, which will be interesting. Just like, but the Ryman's like a listening room and people like, I think are attentive and will like sit and like be like, okay, like let's hear this. So
yeah.
Well, I'm right up the road in Louisville, so I'm gonna have to come down and catch one of these hometown shows too.
Oh, you've got to, dude.
Yeah. I love that.
So we'd love to see you guys live. In the meantime, congrats on a full-length album. It's so much fun to listen to what you guys have done. So, you know, best of luck to the rest of the year too. But thanks for taking the time to talk about it.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for having us on. Yeah.
All right.
So,
Take care, guys.
Appreciate it.
enjoy your day.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. Bye, guys.